Alright guys, because my computer has a small amount of space for video, I'm going to make these shorter videos that are around 10 minutes, and I'm going to teach you different concepts. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to use pitch gliding inside of your chords and melody. So this is really useful. Rio Leva talks about it a lot, but it came from Synthit. He brought this to my attention first. We're going to open up a plugin that you guys may be overlooking. It's called Biohazard. I recommend this plugin. It is super good. Let's click in the presets. Let's go to default and turn it to default. Now, the first sound I recommend is just go to these four little quadrants right here in the top left and just turn the numbers up to around 20. They don't have to be exact. So what this will do is allow us to modulate a sound by a sound, and it creates this nice buttery tone. Now you can make it more bitey by turning these numbers up. All right, so we can always go back to the sound itself. I'll show you guys how to make that cool. Let's go to the channel rack here. We're gonna right click, go to piano roll. We're going to change our snap to grid to somewhere around a half beat just for now, so it's easier to look at. Now, in melodies and chord progressions, you have a lot of notes, okay? But the thing is, we want to move individual notes differently. So let me just start off with the chord, for example. Let's draw an E, G, B. You guys could just follow along if you're a beginner. We're not going to get too deep into theory in this video. And then we're going to take this bottom note here down an octave, and then we're going to do it again. Okay, so now we have these notes here. Turn the metronome on. Okay, now my ear wants to hear F sharp. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this entire chord and drag it over. Now it's either right or wrong. And then my ear wants to hear the G, so let's hit shift up. We're hitting control to highlight the chord, hit shift up. Now my ear says something's wrong here. So let's take this middle note, take it from a minor to what's called the major third. Boom. Okay, now my ear wants to hear E. So notice how we're using our ear to guide us through the chord progression. Let's hit shift and drag that over. Okay, now that's cool. What I recommend you guys do from here is, if you want your top line to really stand out, try to separate it one octave from the highest note here. So we're going to start somewhere around here. It's not a hard rule, it's just a place to start. And then we're just going to go up the scale. Okay, so I'm just going to hit control, highlight these notes, hit shift. Now I could repeat the same thing over. But let's say I want to add some kind of variation in here. So let's go back to the chords, and I'm just going to show you guys a couple techniques. So we could take the top note, count down 7 notes. We're going to duplicate it, highlight this note, hit control, hit shift down 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now what we're going to do is double click this new note and turn it into what's called a slide note. The slide note will take anything that plays at this specific time and slide all of the tuning to that note for that amount of time. Okay, so I pulled it in a little early, so let's fix that. Now, if your endpoint is weird, just hit Control Q to quantize the endpoint. So here everything goes, even the top notes. But we don't want the top note to go like that, okay? So you don't want it to be affected. What we're gonna do is change what's called the MIDI channel for this top note that happens during this time. So we're gonna double click and switch this to 9 in this case. So now this note is not pitch bending down here because the pitch bend only applies to the notes with the same MIDI channel. So when you double click on a note, this is considered a MIDI channel, not just a color, but a MIDI channel. So that's why it gives you a number 1. So any pitch slide with the number 1 on it will slide all the number 1 notes to the pitch slide note. But what we did up here was changed the F sharp to a different MIDI channel so that it's not included in group number 1. So this note is not going to pitch slide down to this note, even if it triggers at the same time. So that way we have this pitch bend that doesn't also pitch bend that top note. Now that's just one technique we can utilize. So let's add this throughout the track, creating this like pseudo tape stop effect. And all we're doing is taking the top note, counting down 7 notes from there. So we're getting the root note basically. Now what we have to do though is duplicate that note across in the same timing. So I'm going to hit shift to duplicate the note, left click. And now our ear can hear the tension between something staying still and something pitch diving. Now let's get a little more methodical, if that's the word. We're going to double click this note here, and we're going to change this to a different MIDI channel. Let's try MIDI channel 15 because it's just a completely different color. And now I want only these top notes to be MIDI channel 15. So I'm going to double click. Now the easier, faster way is just FL Studio remembers the last value that you click. So for example, if I just hit shift, left click, drag that over, and if I click a new note in, it will have the same properties as the note that I clicked before. So that's a quicker way to do that. But now we need to add slide notes for channel 15. A lot to say here. So let's double click this note, switch it to slide note, make sure this MIDI channel is 15. Okay, so only the notes with the same MIDI channel, if they see a slide note, will they slide to that note? Okay, so, okay, my ear wants to hear a certain note. So now we have this moving, breathing melody that doesn't feel stiff, and it doesn't feel like do 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 all the way through. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the sound itself and just thicken out the sound. Now I'm going to get a little esoteric here and turn on what's called operator 3, and it's going to modulate 2, and I forgot to turn on operator 2. Okay, let's start. So now we're going to get a bigger sound. And we're going to change the tuning of 3 to create like a distortion. Let's add a little unison here, detune. You can also add what's called portamento. Portamento is a pitch glide effect, but that affects all of the notes, as you guys can hear. It's too much movement. So now we can control the pitch movement within the melody, and it doesn't, again, blur everything together. So now let's make the bass like do stuff. Now what we could do for this bass is make it less complex. So let's take out the middle layer. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clone this into a completely different instrument. Let's hit Control X to get rid of that bass. And let's right click, clone the sound. We're gonna right click, go into piano roll so that we can paste what we just cut. And now we're gonna design a completely different sound here. All we're gonna do really is just pull down the transpose down -12. That's gonna pull it down 1 octave. If you guys are confused about what I'm saying, don't memorize this, okay? I will have the project files for you guys. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. We're gonna go to the wrench tool, turn on monophonic mode so the notes overlap. And they pitch bend that way. Now let's just turn this up. Gonna make the bass a little bit bitier. All right, so now we want, because the bass is only 1 note, we can just do this with the same MIDI channel. Let's double click and let's add these slide notes. Now you guys can get exotic here. We're gonna use the same note up an octave and just slide it in different ways. So we can slide it up, slide it down. So it goes whew like that. Now the note has to play for that length. So this is a little tricky because the notes are overlapping. You have a slide note over top of a regular note. So it goes whew. Without that note length, it's not gonna slide a note that doesn't exist. So that will cut off. So that's how you create more like Bassline-esque basses, is doing these slide notes here. Let's switch the mode to monophonic there. All right, now what I'm gonna do is just see if we can get the sound to sizzle a little bit more. I wonder why this sound is like. Let's go back to the original sound, and now I'm just shaping the sound here. You guys don't have to memorize this. I forgot for this sound. Actually, never mind. I think it's just being overwhelmed by the bass. So we still have those pitch bends. I'm trying to figure out why the bass is so quiet. You guys get the gist. That's how we use those slide notes creatively to create this moving chord progression or a melody that doesn't sound so computerized, or even a bass line that sounds very lively. So if you guys took education out of this video, took some gems out of it, all I ask is that you share with a friend. Don't be selfish. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out, guys.